You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Tigers hit the practice field for the first time on Thursday in fall camp. After practice, Brian Kelly met with the media. Want to talk a little bit about what Brian Kelly had to say and let you hear some of what he had to say. Notably, we did find out and did confirm that running back Trey Bradford not there. Not only was he not at practice, he's also no longer with the team. Here was Brian Kelly on Bradford.
Yeah, Trey has been separated from the university, and that's, there are luckily, laws that I can't get into specifics there, but he is no longer on the roster.
Laws? That's interesting. That sounds a little more serious than just, hey, guy wasn't going to play, and so he's finding somewhere else to play. Wish the best for Trey Bradford. Hope all is well. His was a sort of strange circumstance anyway. A guy who signed with LSU in 2020, transferred out after his freshman season, went to Oklahoma, never played at Oklahoma before the 2021 season, transferred back to LSU. His dad went on Oklahoma message boards and was like apologizing for his son leaving, saying he didn't support the decision, didn't really play much last year, and now he's leaving again. Probably for the best, maybe a new beginning, fresh start, whatever that means for Trey Bradford, wherever that may be. But it certainly, it clears the deck for what we already knew. John Emery is the guy, and he's going to be given the first opportunity, and probably means more of an opportunity as well for Noah Cain, the Penn State transfer, provided he's healthy. Tigers got to get a good running game going this year, and it's a massive opportunity for John Emery. But Trey Bradford, his LSU career apparently is over. All eyes, of course, going to be on the quarterbacks. Now, I want to set some context here. So, the media was allowed to watch 30 minutes because of the weather in Baton Rouge on Thursday. They were in the indoor facility. And normally in the past, media's watched from the field level. Well, Brian Kelly has the media on the catwalk. There's a catwalk in the indoor facility, so up top, which is where the media watched practice. So if you've seen video, etc., you're seeing an elevated view. That's why. But I actually kind of liked it. I got to see more of the field and sort of see everything. Again, I was on air when the media availability happened, so I was not there. I'm relying on a lot of what I've seen and heard and talked to people, who were at practice. Here was Brian Kelly, by the way. He was asked about the quarterbacks and kind of talked about the quarterbacks just doing a little bit more here in the start of fall camp than they were doing in spring.
Yeah, I think they're all anxious to prove what they can do. They want that opportunity. So, they've prepared really hard, all of them. They're all in great shape. Their mental preparation, you can see it's so, further along than it was now that they know the playbook. So I think they're all anxious to get out there and, have the opportunities to showcase what they can do. And today, again, was much more of, an understanding of, the basic tenets of, footwork and across the field progressions, those kinds of things. And you can see that they're already past that. They're ready to move to the next level.
So that's great to see. So quarterbacks are doing more than just the basic stuff that they were doing whenever they were in spring. Now, the real big question becomes how they start dividing up the reps. Because what Brian Kelly has told us all along is eventually when they get into fall camp, they were going to start calling specific plays for the quarterbacks that will sort of lean into their strengths. So Kelly elaborated, this is a forum use, about how they're going to divide the reps among the quarterbacks.
So you're not going to see much separation in the first 7 days. That'll begin to start take shape and form as we get into down and distance situations. So, for example, these first 2 days are really P and 10, meaning you're just dialing up, every play that is not even a down and distance play. Practice 3, we start to get into some second down. Practice 4 and 5, you start to see a little bit of third down situations. And when we get into that 6th day, you'll start to see a little bit more third down and long, where now you can start to see some play calling that is going to be situated for, the quarterbacks. So it's not going to be until that second kind of rack, if you will, that second week where we start to, pin some plays on quarterbacks.
So it makes a lot of sense. And the last time we all saw this was in 2018 when, of course, Ed Ogeron had a quarterback competition. Joe Burrow had just come in. And it was really after the first week of camp that they whittled down the reps to the real competition, where Joe started getting the lion's share of the reps, and that's when you saw 2 of the guys transfer out. I understand that right now you can't draw any conclusions, and I've been very open in saying that I believe that these coaches legitimately do not know who is going to be their starting quarterback. I believe that. I think they are having a competition, and they're going to figure this out based on who performs best, because they're all getting to know the talent as well. What I'm very comfortable in saying, though, is that you have to start somewhere. Somebody has to get the first rep. Like, if there's no game today, you say, well, if there was a game today, but you had practice, and somebody had to go take the first rep with the first team. And while we may not have seen team drills, we did see some concepts. Like, they did run a no-huddle drill. And the mic'd-up Twitter account posted this video of Miles Brennan running the no-huddle offense. And you can look at this, and there are things you can derive. And again, this is coming from someone who's watched 15 years worth of tidbits of practices. But look at the offensive line. From left to right, that's Ben Bordelon, or Bo Bordelon, excuse me. I'm probably going to mess that up the kid's whole career. My apologies. But I'm just going to say Bordelon. It's Bordelon at left tackle. It's Xavier Hill at left guard. It's Fitzgerald West, the freshman, at center. It's Emory Jones, the freshman, at right guard. And it's Kimo Makaniole at right tackle. Y'all, that ain't your starting offensive line. So Miles Brennan's out there running the no-huddle offense behind a bunch of freshmen. It's pretty clear he wasn't first today or on Thursday. I'm not saying, look, that could switch on the next time out. Now, the next time the media has availability to watch practice is Monday morning. So maybe Monday morning, that's completely flipped. But in this instance, that's what we saw. Our friends over at Channel 2 showed us some video as well where quarterbacks are running drills. Somebody's got to go first. And look, on Scone and T, I talked about this on Wednesday with T-Bob, and he agreed. I mean, this guy who went through camp. It's like, you can tell even in individual drills kind of what the order is based on how guys go in line. And he said, yeah, that's true. Of course it's true. The seniority, the veterans, the starters, they go first in the reps. The freshmen, the backups go next. So you can tell, man, when they were doing a footwork drill and Channel 2 posted the video of it, Jaden Daniels went first. And then Miles Brennan went second, and then Walker Howard actually went third, and then it was Nussmeier. So I'm not saying you draw a great conclusion of that, but it does lend you sort of an idea of what they're thinking. I mean, Daniels went first. Let me see. There were other drills where some of the media reported that it was Nussmeier going first, and Nussmeier had a great spring, so that would make a lot of sense. So I'm not telling you they've made a final decision today, but it at least gives you an idea of where they feel like they're starting today. And I think that's where they are. And you're going to have 2 weeks to figure this out. And I'll continue to say this, because by the end of your second week of fall camp, you have got to name a starting quarterback. Or even if you don't name it publicly, you have to have that person as your starting quarterback, and it's known internally, because you've got to start getting ready for Florida State. In that opener against Florida State, remember, Florida State's already been practicing for a week, and they have the Week 0 game against Duquesne. They have a jump start on you. So you're going to need all the reps possible with your starting offensive line, with your starting quarterback, to get timing with receivers, depth with the running backs, all that stuff. You're going to need as many reps as possible. And so the sooner they can figure this out, the better. And Brian Kelly knows that. Look, he went through this last year. Jack Cohn was a transfer in from Wisconsin, ultimately won that starting job. So Brian Kelly's been through this before. But if you're looking for a timeline, what he's saying is believable. I believe him that he doesn't have a starter yet, and he's going to wait, at least into the second week when they start paring down and seeing what quarterbacks manage the reps. They get the specific reps that they get best. And that's when I think we'll know who the starter is going to be for LSU. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.